Hello everybody. Today I just want to talk about the main subject on everyone's lips and everyone's heads at the minute, I think, the Scottish referendum. We know that Scotland voted to stay in the Union, 55% to 45%, something like that. It was predictable, I guess. I think we knew earlier this week that this would happen, I think. I'm very, very disappointed about it. I'm English, but I'm very disappointed for Scotland. This was a once in a, not even lifetime chance, once in a many lifetimes chance for Scotland to free themselves from Westminster, and they didn't take it. The reasons, I suspect, just fear of change, and also the amount of fear that's been put upon them by the media, the politicians, big business. It's just been overwhelming, you know. The BBC, once again, they've hardly been fair. Not that you expect fairness or impartiality as they claim. It just doesn't exist in reality. You know, you've had banks threatening to pull out. Well, Christ, that's surely a good thing. Leave. You've caused enough damage, piss off. That's what I'll be saying. But they didn't. They haven't took that chance. And that's it. I feel really sorry for the people that voted yes. I think they had it right. They understood it was going to be a huge change, you know. Over time it would have been their children, grandchildren, I think, would have benefited greatly from it. It's a change from the status quo, same old. And to be honest, if for only one reason they should have voted yes, was never again to be ruled by a Tory government. I mean, that alone for me would have been enough reason to vote yes. I mean, do the Scottish people not understand that the Tory government don't care about them? Have they not had enough evidence to prove that to them? I mean, I know there is some wealthy people in Scotland, but the vast majority would be, I would say, were working class people, you know, just like here in the northeast of England. And they've just voted to stay in it. Ruled by Westminster, ruled by the big banks. I mean, that's what they want, or the majority want. But, as I say, they have been bombarded by the media. I mean, I think there's only one newspaper in the world, I think the Scottish Herald, was back in the Yes campaign. All the other newspapers, all the three main parties, plus UKIP, all big business, the banks, even fuckers like Tesco were threatening to put the prices up. You know, it was such a one-sided fight, as usual. Whenever anyone challenges the status quo, looks to make real change, that all the big guns come out, as usual. But people have got to be wiser than that. They've got to see through that bullshit, you know. People have got to be brave and just ignore the bullshit and the fear. But they haven't. I'm absolutely gutted for Scotland today. But that's democracy, eh? Everyone gets what nobody wants. Where do we go from here, eh? I suspect in the short term Scotland will get a few concessions and few more powers than they did have, but ultimately it'll still be Westminster and the banksters running the show. You know, that was a real chance for Scotland to start the road to real freedom, out of the EU, out of the Rothschild-controlled central banks. You know, a real Bank of Scotland, not a public entity an entity that pretends to be public but is actually in fact privately owned, like the Bank of England, the Federal Reserve. They don't belong to the country. They're owned by a collection of banking families, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, you know, people like that. The real small handful of people who basically run countries because they own the country's banks. So Scotland could have, in the long term, got out of the EU, which you would have to do to be independent. You can't be independent in the EU. That's just a ridiculous state of affairs. Like being partly pregnant, you can't be independent and part of the EU. Anyone that says you can is just lying to you, basically. They could have their own bank, creating their own money, free of interest. You know, they could have had a fairer system. They already get free prescriptions, free old age care, free university education, which people in England would kill for. So it has shown that nationalism and, you know, sort of partial independence, as I say, like the first steps they took, have benefited the vast majority of people. We don't get that here in England. We pay for it partially, but we don't get it here. And I would have thought the changes Scotland's seen over the last few years, you know, where things have sort of improved a bit for people, would show people what could be achieved if they carried on down that path. But that path's stopped now. The brick wall's gone up and that's it. Cameron, Clegg, Miliband, Farage, the establishment stooges, basically, that they've won. They've won. So, to anyone watching this video in Scotland, I commiserate, I really do. Whichever way you voted, I think it's gone the wrong way. As I say, I can't hand on heart blame the Scottish fully, because it's been an unfair fight. It really has. All the big guns have been against you. They've lied to you. They've threatened you. And ultimately people get frightened and stick for what they know. But that's it, you know. So next year we have an election again. We get to choose between, you know, Coke, Diet Coke, Coke Zero. But at the end of the day, it's all just Coke, isn't it? Doesn't matter. They're just the middle management. They're just doing the bidding of the powers that be. You know, big business and banks. Doesn't matter who you vote for, nothing's going to change. Never does, never will. But Scotland yesterday had the chance to put themselves on a path. You know, they could have been like the new Norway, an independent country with a really high standard of living, quite a fair system, and you know, I don't think there's many food banks in Norway. I have to check that one out, but I suspect there isn't. You know, people getting sanctioned for fucking stupid things, you know, when they sign on, or punished for little trivial matters. Having to go to food banks. 2014 in Britain. That's where we are. That's where we're going to stay, I think. Very depressing. Anyway, Scottish independence, that's it. Salmon said, you know, that's it for now, but Ian's not going to get another chance for this now. Won't happen in our lifetimes. That's it. You know, sadly Scotland's not as powerful as the EU, where they can keep asking this question until they get the right answer. The right answer has been given yesterday, so that's it. There won't be a second chance. Anyway, folks, I'm depressed enough now. It's a really bad day, I think, for everybody. English, Scottish, Welsh, Irish. I think it's a bad day for working people, normal people. The vast majority, for the masses. It's been a bad day. Never mind. Anyway, folks, if you like what you've seen, subscribe underneath. Leave your comments, I'd appreciate them. And I'll catch you next time. See you later. Bye.